Check, check. There we go. It took a second. All right.
Check 1, 2, test. Can the Zoom room hear me? Can the Zoom room hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome, Rabbi.
Okay.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Too many cameras. All right. Before we begin our services this evening, a couple of housekeeping details. The first thing is a reminder that we all must stay masked in the sanctuary. And I ask that everybody please keep the mask over their nose and mouth to keep everyone safe. For those who have a part in this service, we invite you to come to the bima when we call your name, and you are allowed to remove your mask during your part, do your part, and then go and sit back down. For those who are on Zoom or streaming, I will say that Rabbi Kamil pulls a crowd, that this is sort of a precursor to high holidays, and any bigger and we'd have to open up more walls. So really, it is like Old Home Week, and it's so wonderful to see all of you. We come now to our sacred and holy time of Shabbat, a time of joy, of rest, and of peace. We come here each with a different need to this holy sanctuary. But most of all, it's so wonderful to gather and see old friends as we honor Rabbi Ricky and Rebecca Kamil for their years of service and dedication to our congregation. This is the first week in the Hebrew month of Tammuz, and we are so thrilled that all of you could join and be with us, that it is safe enough to do so. It is truly a blessing indeed. And so we continue with our opening song, Lechu Neranana.
To God, the maker of all, sure and strong. Let all of creation from mountain to sea hear our song. Yehuneranena, ya la 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 la, la.
And before we sanctify our Shabbat candles, I was just informed that if somebody has lost a ring, check your fingers. Somebody has lost a ring, please let me know. I might have it in my hand. It is my pleasure to ceremonially invite to our bima on Zoom, Patricia Rosenman, to sanctify our Shabbat candles. Thank you, Patricia. We continue in our Siddur, in our prayer book, on page 6, with the reading, May the Door. It is my pleasure to invite to our bima, Mary Hasten.
May the door of this sanctuary be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, and hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life.
Harvey Simpson, our poet laureate, wrote a poem for this occasion, for you, Rabbi Kamil. And his poem says, "Farewell, Ricky. Though Ricky Kamil's leaving, and we are slightly grieving, we know that as he spreads his wings, he'll be doing terrific things. We'll miss his intellect keen, his social action dream, his skills at computerizing, his depth at religiousizing, his communication with other sects, his analysis of Torah texts. Ricky will miss you. You're an interesting stew. Keep doing what you do, and may all your dreams come true."
Well, thank you, Harvey, for that beautiful poem. We continue now in our service, our Ma'ariv service with the Baruch Hu. As I ask everyone to please rise in either body or spirit as we turn to page 28.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai, HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai, HaMevorach, HaMevorach, Le'olam Va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach, Le'olam Va'ed.
Everyone may be seated, and it is my pleasure to invite up to read our Ma'arim Aravim prayer on page 30, Judy Miller.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim bechokma poteach she'arim uvit vuna mishane itim umachalif et hazmanim Umsader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshach, v'choshach mipnei or. Ma'avir yom umevi laila, ma'avdil bein yom uvein laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid imloch aleinu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim.
It's now my pleasure to invite up to lead us in the English of our Ahavat Olam prayer on page 32, Adam Rubacek.
Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Amohev Amo Israel.
Now my pleasure to invite up to lead us in our English on page 33, Lisa Papatowski.
As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons. Yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives its form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
We continue now with the Shema on page 34 as I invite the congregation to rise in either body or spirit.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shekevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shekevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Everyone may be seated. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol vavacha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha ve'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam livanecha v'dibarta bam בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני Adonai Elohechem. It is now my pleasure to invite up to read our reading on page 39, Kenya Madison Gabler.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
We continue now with our Micha Mocha prayer. Tehilot Vele Tehilot
Adonai Imloch le'olam va'ed Malchutecha ra'u v'necha Bokei hayam lifnei Moshe Ze'eliyanu ve'amru Ze'eliyanu ve'amru Adonai Imloch le'olam va'ed.
It is my pleasure now to invite up to lead us in the English of our Hashkivenu prayer, Karen Friedman.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in all our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will.
We continue now with the Vishamru, which can be found on page 44. And just a quick note that the Vishamru is going to lead in to our Amidah, which begins on page 46. And when that happens, since it is the standing prayer, I will indicate for everyone to rise.
Shamru Bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat Lidorotam Brit Olam Shamru Bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat Lidorotam Brit Olam Beini uvein Bnei Yisrael Oti le'olam Sheshet yamim Asa Adonai Asa Adonai Et hashamayim ve'et haaretz Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash V'shamru Bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat Lidorotam Brit Olam Shamru Bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat Yaedai, 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 Thought has blown the marketplace away. There is a song on the wind and joy in the trees. Shabbat arrives in the world, scattering a song in the silence of the night, and eternity utters a day. Eternity utters a day. Yaedai, 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 Adonai, Svatai, Svatai Tivtah.
We rise for the Amidah.
Yagitei latera. Adonai, Svatai, Svatai Tivtah. Ufi, Yagitei latera. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Eloheinu Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Velohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vegonei Hakol. וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור עולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ברופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה. ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Everyone may be seated, and it is my pleasure to invite up to lead us in the Kiddushat Hayam on page 55, Barbara Turner.
May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who suffer find solace. May all who despair find purpose. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
And it is now my pleasure to invite up to read for us a reading on page 57, Rick Martinez.
You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'ocha levad ha'biara navod.
We continue now with our prayer for peace, Oseh Shalom.
Shalom, Alleluia. ישראל ואימנו עמי. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל ישראל ואימנו.
Before we begin Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service for the reading of the Torah, I'm going to explain our new minhag, our new custom. We want to be able to bring Torah into our midst, but we don't want you clamoring over one another, trying to touch the Torah with your Sidurim, with your prayer book. We're trying to at least have some semblance of remaining socially distant, and, we're just going to be very rapidly bringing the Torah into your midst. So we still want to be able to do that. We're just going to stand quietly at our seats while we do so. So we continue on page 249 with Al Shlosha Devarim. Will the congregation please rise?
Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Olam Omein. Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Olam Omein. Al Torah ve'al havodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. Al Torah ve'al havodah ve'al gemilut chasadim.
Please be seated. Our Torah portion for this Shabbat is Korach. And Korach begins with the famous rebellion led by Korach against his cousins Moses and Aaron. He claimed that the two of them had usurped power from the rest of the Israelites. And so after convincing the rebels to retreat, Moses tells the dissenter and Aaron to offer up incense to God, the acceptance of which would determine who was the chosen leader. Well, I'll just skip to the end of the story and tell you that Moses and Aaron win. So what ends up happening is the earth swallows up Korach and the other rebels, and the Levites are rewarded for their dedication to receive 1/10 of all the crops produced by the Israelites, and Moses and Aaron stay in power. You can follow along with this tremendous drama on page 860 in the Etz Chaim commentaries, the large maroon books found between your seats. Ta'amod Esther bat Moshe v'Rocholea la'aliyah haTorah.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. Vayikach Korach ben Yitzhar, ben Kahat, ben Levi, V'Dotan v'Abiram, b'nei Eliav, V'on ben Pelet, b'nei Reuven, Vayakumu lifnei Moshe, V'anashim mibnei Yisrael, Chamishim umatayim, Nesi'ei Edat Korei Moed, Anshe Sham, Vayikahalu al Moshe ve'al Aharon, Vayomru alehem Rav lachem, Ki kol ha'edat, Kulam kadoshim. Uvtocham Adonai, Umadua tit'anasu al kahal Adonai, Vayishma Moshe, Vayipol al panav.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. At this time in our worship service, our thoughts turn to those of our family and community who are ill and in need of healing. We think this evening of Elwood Frederick Bryan, Mark Zellman, Evan Georgie Johnston, Kathleen Minardi, Sheila Alterman, Carol and Larry Nymark, Stefano Michelasi, Larry Levine, Steve Tatiner, Beverly Klein, Carlene Lane, Kathy Notaras, Len Schultzman, Carol Das, Sonia Miller, Jenny Jones, James Barger, Alan Wolski, Mario Martinez Fernandez, and all who suffer whom we know not by name. Mishaberach Avotenu, Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov, v'Imotenu, Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah, hu yivarech v'rapeh et kol cholei Yisrael, v'yishlach lahem bimheira, refuah shlema, refuat hanefesh, refuat haguf, v'nomar, Amen. May God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal all who are stricken. May the Holy One of Praise mercifully restore them to health and to vigor. May God grant them health of body, health of spirit, and of mind. And let us say,
a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mikor Abraham lamotenu. Bless those in need of healing with her refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Ya'amod Yaakov ben Avram v'Sara Hagba, Ta'amod Michal bat Shimon umalka Golelet. Will the congregation please rise?
V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai
Please be seated. Our prayer for America and our prayer for the state of Israel can be found on pages 258 and 259. It is my pleasure to invite forward first Carol Meyer, followed by Rick Schoenfield.
O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Help us to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we serve you. Bless our country, that may always be a stronghold of peace and its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within its borders, health and happiness within its homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship among the inhabitants of all lands, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. We praise you, O God, the source of peace. Amen.
O Heavenly One, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen.
We continue on page 256 as we rise to return the Torah to the Ark.
Eitz Chaim hi lamachzikim ba etomchecha meushar derachecha darkeinu am echol netivotecha shalom. Hashivenu Adonai elecha nashuva Kadesh Yameinu Kadesh Yameinu Kekedem.
Please be seated. So we get now to our sermon part, and I'm going to ask the Rabbi's Kamil to come sit in the front row so I can speak to you. There we go. That's perfect. Okay. In thinking about what I'd like to say about and to Rabbi Kamil, I came up with so many ideas of things that we can reminisce about. But I really whittled it down to the top 3 things that I wanted to share about my working relationship with Rabbi Kamil. And that is, you are fun and a joy to work with. I don't know if you all remember, but Rabbi Kamil opened up a hacked email many, many years ago before he even came here as our assistant rabbi. And it infiltrated his email account. He got a virus. They took over his passwords. And the hackers opened a YouTube channel in Rabbi Kamil's name and started posting videos about cannabis. Well, initially I thought Rabbi Kamil was the coolest guy. But some of our congregants didn't think so, and when they When they brought this to our attention, Rabbi Kamil was sufficiently mortified, and our first sermon together was a joint sermon. I will never forget all of our many Purim spiels where I enabled you to show your muscles and lots of skin. Those Purim spiels, just so everyone knows, were mostly written by Rabbi Kamil. He was always game for a good time. You made fun of yourself, and you played with me and the congregation. Everyone who speaks tonight will speak of your passion for social action and how you've raised up the level of activism in our congregation. But you really have done so much more, Rabbi Kamil. You have shared that passion with our youth. You've taught them about social justice, instilled in them a desire to make right the wrongs of our world. And then you gave them the tools to work for justice within our community as well. You took kids to Litaken in Washington, D.C., did a huge amount of work for RAC, Illinois, DuPage United, and raised up our Social Action Committee in general. It was an honor and a privilege to watch you grow from a young man into a seasoned veteran rabbi. But now I want to speak to Rabbi Rebecca Kamil. Many of you might not know of the great works that she has quietly done in our community as well. So I'm going to mention a few recollections about Rabbi Kamil as well. During Rabbi Ricky Kamil's interview, I sat with Rabbi Rebecca Kamil for an hour, after which I said, "Oh my God, Rebecca, you're a rock star. Do you want this job?" And she declined, and I understand why. You see, Rabbi Kamil, Rebecca Kamil's superpower is her bedside manner. She is a chaplain. She brings comfort and dignity to patients to whom she serves. Years ago, she brought comfort to a Catholic woman who was at Elmhurst Hospital. And little did Rabbi Kamil know that the woman's daughter was one of my closest friends. My friend reported what a comfort you were to her mother. And that woman is now 93 years old, and she still talks about how much it meant to her to have her rabbi with her during her Elmhurst Hospital stay. Together, you rabbis Kamil are superpowers. You've built a life and a family. You came as a couple and are leaving with a dog, a child, advanced degrees, even a yoga and sailing certificate, which you pursued for your own soul's growth. But finally, I'll tell one last story. You see, every Rosh Hashanah, Rabbi Kamil would quietly leave me a thank you note on my desk. In it, he would thank me for whatever it was that year that he focused on. That small act of gratitude was probably my most look forward to part of the year. And so now I will offer to you my public thank you note. Thank you, Rabbi Rebecca and Rabbi Ricky Kamil, for your kindness and nurturing presence to our entire community, for your leadership and talents which have built up the Social Action Committee, our Lifelong Learning Committee, our youth committees, our Hebrew school, and on our entire congregation. Thank you for your playfulness and your humor, and for your ability to do anything technical. Your passion has made the world a better place. You both have enriched us, nurtured us, and served us with tremendous dignity and honor. And although you will not be here on a day-to-day basis, the impact that you have had on our community will be felt like a stone that is thrown into a river. Your ripples will continue. Modim anachnu lach. We offer our thanks to you as you go on your way to new horizons and to new pastures. I now invite forward Mimi Bennett and Marla Gerard to present to Rabbi Kamil a few remarks.
Rabbi Kamil, thank you for doing an amazing job mentoring the Social Action Committee for the past 5 years. I became the chair of the Social Action Committee about the same time you arrived at Etz Chaim. Even though I co-chaired the committee with Mimi, for a year, I was nervous about chairing it alone. Fortunately, with your experience, guidance, and tech savviness, we improved and grew the committee. We will miss your insightful Devar Torahs, creative ideas, connections in the community, and kind disposition. During your time with us, you have made an important connection with the Religious Action Center of Reform Judaism in Illinois, RAC, Illinois, and have encouraged us to participate in civil engagements, especially in activities to curb voter suppression. You were very instrumental and active in establishing relationships with a couple of refugee families who I am proud to say are now self-sufficient. More recently, you have strengthened our relationship with DuPage United. About 4 years ago, we learned how to create a successful mitzvah day, and when other religious organizations in the area heard about our success, we partnered with them the following year. When the pandemic changed our lives, you were instantly a pro at Zoom and webinars and helped us adapt to the new way of interacting. I've mentioned only a few ways that you have helped us tremendously in our mission of Tikkun Olam. In your honor, the Social Action Committee has made a generous donation. We thought it was appropriate to donate to RAC, Illinois, which for more than 6 decades has worked to educate, inspire, and mobilize the Reformed Jewish community to advocate for social justice. We wish you, Rebecca, and Matan a healthy and wonderful new journey. We will miss you. And we have a certificate here for you.
Don't leave. I mean, yeah.
Oh,
Well, that was a quick 5 years. I echo everything that Marla just said. It was a pleasure planning social action sponsored events together over the years. On behalf of the congregation, I present this gift as a token of appreciation of your work. I don't know if you can see it.
I can see it through it, but yeah, when I do that. So everyone else can
While I speak. I did notice on a recent Zoom a bare wall. Perhaps that is where this will find its home. Goodbyes are never easy. We wish you, Rebecca, and Natan all the best and hope that you will visit us soon.
Thank you so much. I will open that in a moment, but I do see it does say justice, justice you shall pursue, or tzedek, tzedek tirdov, one of the great commandments that we have. So, of course, thank you for everyone speaking in those wonderful and beautiful words. I put together a few remarks, and throughout them, I put in some jokes because I knew that I thought that I might get choked up. But looking at the community today and seeing how many people are here and thinking about all the memories we share together, I realize I don't think I'm that funny. So, over the last 5 years, as Rabbi Kozlowski mentioned, we actually did not talk to each other at all about what we were going to say, but I often think about that first sermon that I did with Rabbi Kozlowski on my first Shabbat. And as you heard, this was our joint sermon to poke fun about that computer virus I got from Rabbi Kozlowski, but that's all right. And it was a lot of fun to work together to create it. And as fun as it was, I think not just about the content, but who I was when I wrote that sermon with Rabbi C. And as someone who likes math, I was thinking about it if I take who I was then, and then take that away from who I am now, then perhaps what I get is who I was in my time at Eitz Chaim. Now, of course, I don't think exactly that experience and memory works like that. And I don't think I can take away who I was, but think I can add on what I've learned here and share how that has shaped me, in my opinion, to be a better rabbi, a better Jewish person, and just a better person. So here are a few things that I've learned. Now, the first thing I believe is how to recognize and build really good volunteers. Eitz Chaim is a special place where almost all we do is led by the great group of volunteers who take their passion and experience and make this a really wonderful congregation. I have loved working with everyone on all the committees I've served, the programs we've been able to do in the Lifelong Learning Committee, the programs we've been able to do in the Youth Committee, and of course, everything that we've done with our Social Action Committee. Now, this year, I think that I've seen firsthand how the passion for justice with everyone here has found something they wanted to change and actually made that change. Our committee has wanted to build more affordable and supportive housing in the area, and we were able to take something from an idea, from that incorporeal reality, or incorporeal to reality, with only our leaders and our volunteers making this world a better place. And who I am now is someone who not only wants to build up leaders, but also be a leader and volunteer myself, and knowing that that can really change the world. My second big lesson from Eitz Chaim is the importance of guidance. I have been fortunate that all the staff I work with here have guided me in many ways. I've had the opportunity to take in the opinions of everyone I've worked with, which has helped, I believe, me better hone my skills as a rabbi. It has been wonderful learning from everyone in the office, Adrian, Michelle, Mike, Carol, Marla, and Rabbi Kaznowski. There have been so many times over the last 5 years I have loved being together and working together on a project. As Rabbi C. mentioned, I think this always comes into play for our holiday of Purim, always a favorite of mine. However, I'm not sure if you realize how much work and joy comes into the office as they guided me to help put together fun spiels for the congregation. The guidance of Rabbi Kaznowski in my first Purim here, as you may have heard, was her first question, where she asked, how naked are you willing to be on the bima? And I will take and continue using all in the office for guidance and know I am who I am and will be who I will be because of the guidance of the staff here. And finally, the lesson of community. Like everyone, over the last 5 years, I've had my ups and downs, family tragedies to family simchas. From the death of my father to the birth of my son, this community has been with me. Where I go, not only will I look for a community such as this one, but I believe and ask, of course, that I will still keep this community in my heart, and it will always be a part of me. So who I was when I came here, and add the memory and experiences of my time here is now who I've become. I've learned so many lessons at Eitz Chaim, and know whatever is in my future, the lessons which I have learned here will help me volunteer to make the world a better place, know where to find that guidance, and seek a community while still being a part of the community here. This, I believe, has really been a transformative experience with me here at Congregation Eitz Chaim. And no matter where I go, I believe that this synagogue will always be a home to me. Shabbat Shalom.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kimanu v'higianu b'zman hazeh. Rabbi Kamil, if you could take a seat next to your wife for a moment. We have something special for you. Everybody, please turn to the song sheet that you got, and together we're going to sing a special blessing for Rabbi Kamil. So the Pirkei Avot tells us, Aseh lecha rav, ukenei lecha haver. Find yourself a teacher, but acquire yourself a friend. Yehi beitcha beit va'ad l'chachamim. And let your house be a meeting place for the wise. And certainly with Rabbi Kamil, we have had that. So together, we're going to sing this for Rabbi Kamil. Repeat after me. Sing nice and loud so he feels it from your kishkis. How do we thank you for all the things you've given, for all the things you've given, for the lessons that you've taught, and for the way you listen, for the way you listen. Your soul has changed us. Your soul has changed us in ways we cannot comprehend, in ways we cannot comprehend. All the honor goes to you. Our teacher, our good friend. Our teacher, our good friend. Good. Here we go. Asik lecha rav. Together. Good. Beit Vad l'chachamim, Yiveitcha, Beit Vad l'chachamim, Beit Vad l'chachamim, Beit Vad l'chachamim. One of my favorite parts about Rabbi Kamil, one of my favorite things that he does, is when we start dancing. I can see him. He's ready. Here we go. I say. Rav ukanei lecha chaver asik lecha rav asik lecha rav ukanei lecha chaver asik lecha rav yiveitcha beit vad l'chachamim beit vad l'chachamim beit vad l'chachamim yiveitcha beit vad l'chachamim beit vad l'chachamim beit vad l'chachamim. How do we thank you, our teacher, our good friend?
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Jacob Cinnamon Murphy, and I'm representing the Board of Directors tonight. I want to thank everyone who has joined us for tonight's special Shabbat service, honoring and thanking Rabbi Kamil for his dedication to Etz Chaim for the past 5 years. We wish you, Rebecca, and Matan all the best. Just a couple of quick announcements. Please plan on attending Shabbat services next Friday night, June 18th at 7:30 p.m., as we will be honoring and thanking Mary Hasten for everything she has done and continues to do for our congregation. I hope you'll also join us via Zoom on Thursday, June 24th at 7 p.m. as we kick off a new series of programs focused on the history, life, and culture of Sephardic Jewry. Led by Dr. Roy Middleman, this first program will cover Morocco's Jews, an intimate look at Jewish life in a Muslim land. Thank you to Rabbi Koznowski and Rabbi Kamil for leading us in tonight's service. Thank you to Cindy Michelasi for our beautiful music. And thanks to all of you who participated in enhancing our service tonight. As you leave the sanctuary, please take your prayer books back to the ushers, and in the lobby, everyone is invited to take their own to-go neg bags as you leave. Please note there is one table that has cookies that have nuts in them and is marked accordingly. Shabbat Shalom.
We come now to our concluding prayers, and it is my pleasure to invite up as our ark openers Janice Abelman and Sherry Kaiser as we turn to page 282, as I invite the congregation to please rise for the Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, לגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Everyone may be seated as we turn to page 287. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand, but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Together, rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace.
ונאמר וחיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
Our thoughts now turn to those who are no longer with us. Tonight, as a community, we remember and honor the Yortzites of Sylvia Porton, mother of Art Porton, Bernard Rabins, father of Jack Rabins, Marvin Abelman, father of Janice Abelman, Marjorie Brockman, mother of Barbara Freed, Harry Diamond, grandfather of Karen Butterfield, Frances Krause, mother of Daniel Krause, Gunborg Halberg, grandmother of Lena Benson, Jeffrey David Silver, brother-in-law of Lori Silver, Emmanuel Jacobson, father of Amanda Jacobson, Irma Mannheimer, aunt of Howard Benario, and Richard Seffman, father of Julie Benario, Joanne Soyring, mother of Lauren Triffler and friend of Mark Triffler, Violet Balin, mother of Stuart Balin, Rose Chafik, mother of Giorgio Chafik, Marty Hyams, cousin of Michelle Miller, Murray Ritzner, father of Michelle Miller, Louis Lowy, father of Andrea Popper, Nathan Roddersman, father of Tina Brackman, Lee Bernstein, mother of Jamie Bernstein Coffey, Harry Marks, grandfather of Robin Dombeck, Fernalind Fishman, father of Sherry Kaiser, Hans Gutenstein, friend of Eitz Chaim. We also mourn the recent passing of Steve Koech, husband of Andy Pevitz Koech, Elaine Merkovitz, mother of Rachel Wood, Ethel Zemp, aunt of Judy and Sid Frankel and great aunt of Daniel Frankel, and Sam Polk, father of Nancy Friedlander. We turn in our Sidurim to page 294 as we rise as one community and join together in the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, Be'alma divrach hirte v'amlich malchute, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chaye d'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'gala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach le'olam olmei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh, V'yithadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei kudesha berechu, la'ela minkol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Everyone may be seated. In thinking about what I would wanted to do for a closing song this evening, I wanted to again kind of express this idea that Eitz Chaim will always be a home for me, and thought that Home by Philip Phillips, with a little bit of the change of the lyrics, might be a good way to go. I know I'm not alone, 'cause I'll make Eitz Chaim my home. Settle down, it'll all be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons, they fill you with fear. Trouble, it might drag you down. You are lost, but you might well be found. Just know I'm not alone, 'cause I can make Eitz Chaim my home. Goodbye, and all as I go, as I roll down this unfamiliar road. And although it's stringing me along, just know I'm not alone, because I can make Eitz Chaim my home. Let us go out to the Shabbat, to joy, to rest, and to peace. Shabbat Shalom. I know. The microphone. so it says, justice, justice, you shall pursue. It's really beautiful. Thank you.
Hugging is permitted.
I miss you so much. Thank you, Karen. And I did apply this week, so it's a